The cranberry sauce was being passed around the table. My entire family was gathered for Thanksgiving dinner. We were talking about holiday plans when my mother casually said, "Oh, by the way, your sister got the insurance payout from your accident. You don't need it anyway since you're doing fine." I stopped mid-bite. My fork froze in the air. And I asked one simple question that made the entire room erupt. What insurance payout? What came next exposed a theft, years of financial abuse, and the moment I realized my mother had been stealing from me my entire adult life. Hello everyone. My name is Amanda Chen and I want to tell you about the day I discovered my mother had stolen $50,000 from me and given it to my sister. This is a story about financial exploitation, parental favoritism, fraud, and the moment everything fell apart at Thanksgiving dinner. It's about trusting the wrong people with your personal information and how sometimes your own family can be your biggest enemy. I am 31 years old. I have one younger sister named Michelle who is 27. My mother is 60 years old. My father passed away when I was 16. Growing up, things were tight financially after Dad died. Mom worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. I started working at 15 to help with expenses. I bought my own clothes, paid for my own school supplies, saved for college. Michelle was only 11 when Dad died, so she didn't work. Mom said she was too young. That was fine. I understood. But as we got older, the pattern continued. I worked my way through college. I paid my own tuition, my own rent, everything. Michelle went to college and Mom paid for most of it. When I asked why, Mom said, "You've always been independent. Michelle needs more help." I graduated with a nursing degree. I got a good job at a hospital. I worked hard. I saved money. I was responsible. Michelle graduated with a degree in communications. She couldn't find a job in her field. She moved back home with Mom. She worked part-time retail jobs and complained constantly about how hard life was. I had my own apartment. I had my own car. I had my own life. But Mom would call me regularly asking for money to help Michelle. "She's struggling. Can you send $200 for her car insurance? Or Michelle needs new work clothes. Can you help out?" I always said yes because that's what family does. You help each other. Over the years, I probably sent my mother $10,000 or more to help Michelle. I never asked for it back. I never kept track. I just helped. 3 years ago, I was in a serious car accident. I was driving home from a night shift at the hospital when a drunk driver ran a red light and hit me. My car was totaled. I had severe injuries. Broken ribs, broken arm, concussion, internal bleeding. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I had surgery. I had months of physical therapy. It was the worst experience of my life. During my recovery, I was barely functional. I couldn't work. I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything. Mom came to help me during the first few weeks. She stayed at my apartment, helped me with basic tasks, managed my mail. I was grateful for her help. I was on so many pain medications that I wasn't thinking clearly. I just needed someone to take care of things while I healed. Mom handled everything. She sorted my mail, paid my bills from my checking account, dealt with insurance paperwork. I trusted her completely. After a month, I was doing better. Mom went back to her own house. I slowly returned to work, part-time at first, then full-time. Life went back to normal. Or so I thought. I knew there was an insurance claim from the accident. The drunk driver's insurance company was supposed to pay for my medical bills and pain and suffering. My lawyer had mentioned it would probably be a significant amount. But then months passed and I didn't hear anything. I assumed these things took time. I was busy with work and recovery. I didn't follow up as aggressively as I should have. Eventually, I called my lawyer. "What's happening with my settlement?" He sounded confused. "Ms. Chen, that was settled 8 months ago. The check was sent to your address." My stomach dropped. "What? I never received a check." He pulled up his files. "It was sent certified mail to your apartment address. Someone signed for it." He gave me the tracking number. I looked it up. The signature on the delivery confirmation wasn't mine. It was my mother's signature. I felt cold. How much was the check for? He told me. $50,000. $50,000. I sat down hard on my couch. And you're sure it was sent to my address? He confirmed. Yes, 8 months ago. Is there a problem? I told him I never received the money. He was concerned. That's a serious issue. You need to contact the insurance company immediately. If someone else cashed that check, that's fraud. I called the insurance company. After being transferred multiple times, I finally got someone who could help. They confirmed the check had been cashed. At a bank I didn't use. I asked for a copy of the cashed check. They emailed it to me. There, on the back of the check, was an endorsement signature. Not my signature. My mother's signature. And below it, a stamp from a bank I'd never heard of. I felt sick. My mother had stolen $50,000 from me. She had signed my name on the check. She had cashed it. And I'd had no idea. I immediately called her. Mom, we need to talk. Did you cash an insurance check that came to my apartment? There was a long pause. What check? Her voice sounded nervous. The settlement check from my car accident. $50,000. It was sent to my apartment 8 months ago while you were helping me, and someone cashed it with a forged signature. Another pause. Then her voice changed. Became defensive. Oh, that check. Yes, I handled that for you. You were still recovering and I didn't want you to have to deal with it. I tried to stay calm. Mom, where is the money? She cleared her throat. Well, I put it somewhere safe for you. I gripped my phone tighter. Where, specifically? She hesitated too long. I'm managing it for you. You'll get it when you need it. I felt my heart pounding. Mom, that's my money. From my accident. I need you to transfer it to my account immediately. Her tone turned cold. Amanda, you're doing fine. You have a good job. You have savings. You don't need this money right now. I'm keeping it safe for when you really need it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That's not your decision to make. That's my money. You forged my signature. That's illegal. Transfer the money to me now or I'm calling the police. My mother's voice got sharp. You would call the police on your own mother? After everything I've done for you. I raised you. I worked 2 jobs for you. And this is how you repay me? I was shaking now. This isn't about repayment. You stole from me. $50,000. That's a felony. She hung up on me. I sat there in shock. Then I called my bank and put a fraud alert on all my accounts. I changed all my passwords. I called my lawyer and told him what happened. He was furious. Your mother committed forgery and fraud. You need to file a police report immediately. And you need to check your credit report. If she had access to your mail and personal information, she might have done other things. I pulled my credit report that night. My heart sank. There were 2 credit cards I'd never opened. Both maxed out. Total of $30,000 in debt. Both opened 2 years ago, right after my accident when my mother had access to all my information. She hadn't just stolen the insurance money. She'd also opened credit cards in my name and maxed them out. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My own mother had destroyed my credit and stolen $80,000 from me. I filed a police report the next day. The detective took my statement and all my evidence. This is pretty clear-cut fraud, he said. We'll investigate and present it to the prosecutor. I asked what would happen to my mother. He was honest. If the prosecutor files charges, your mother could face significant prison time. Fraud, forgery, identity theft. These are serious crimes. I felt torn. She was my mother. But she had also betrayed me in the worst possible way. Over the next few weeks, the investigation moved forward. The detective called me with updates. They'd tracked the bank account where the insurance check was deposited. It was in my mother's name. The money was gone. She'd withdrawn most of it over several months. The credit cards were also clearly fraud. My mother's IP address was on the applications. They had enough evidence to arrest her. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My own mother had stolen from me and ruined my credit. And I was the one who'd reported her. Who'd set this all in motion. Then, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, my mother called. Amanda, please drop this. Please call off the investigation. I'll pay you back. I promise. I asked the obvious question. How? You don't have the money anymore. Where did it go? Silence. Then, quietly, I gave some of it to Michelle. She needed help. My blood ran cold. You gave my insurance money to Michelle? How much? More silence. Most of it. She was in debt. She needed a car. She wanted to move into a nicer apartment. I felt rage building. So you stole my money from my accident and gave it to my sister for her wants. My mother's voice got defensive. Michelle needed it more than you. You're doing fine. You have a career. She's struggling. I laughed bitterly. I'm doing fine because I work hard and make good choices. My own mother had destroyed my credit and stolen $80,000 from me. I filed a police report the next day. The detective took my statement and all my evidence. This is pretty clear-cut fraud, he said. We'll investigate and present it to the prosecutor. I asked what would happen to my mother. He was honest. If the prosecutor files charges, your mother could face significant prison time. Fraud, forgery, identity theft. These are serious crimes. I felt torn. She was my mother. But she had also betrayed me in the worst possible way. Over the next few weeks, the investigation moved forward. The detective called me with updates. They'd tracked the bank account where the insurance check was deposited. It was in my mother's name. The money was gone. She'd withdrawn most of it over several months. The credit cards were also clearly fraud. My mother's IP address was on the applications. They had enough evidence to arrest her. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My own mother had stolen from me and ruined my credit. And I was the one who'd reported her. Who'd set this all in motion. Then, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, my mother called. Amanda, please drop this. Please call off the investigation. I'll pay you back. I promise. I asked the obvious question. How? You don't have the money anymore. Where did it go? Silence. Then, quietly, I gave some of it to Michelle. She needed help. My blood ran cold. You gave my insurance money to Michelle? How much? More silence. Most of it. She was in debt. She needed a car. She wanted to move into a nicer apartment. I felt rage building. So you stole my money from my accident and gave it to my sister for her wants. My mother's voice got defensive. Michelle needed it more than you. You're doing fine. You have a career. She's struggling. I laughed bitterly. I'm doing fine because I work hard and make good choices. Michelle is struggling because she doesn't. And that doesn't give you the right to steal from me. My mother started crying. Please, Amanda. If you don't drop this, I'll go to jail. Is that what you want? Your mother in prison? I felt no sympathy. What I wanted was a mother who didn't steal from me. But we don't always get what we want, do we? She hung up. I called the detective and told him I was moving forward with prosecution. Thanksgiving came. I wasn't going to go to my mother's house. Why would I? But my Aunt Carol called. Please come to Thanksgiving. Your mother promised she'd behave. The whole family will be there. We can have one normal holiday before everything falls apart. I reluctantly agreed. I drove to my mother's house on Thanksgiving Day. The driveway was full. Extended family had come. Aunts, uncles, cousins. And Michelle's car was there. I almost turned around and left. But I'd promised my aunt I'd come. I walked in. Mom was in the kitchen. Michelle was in the living room, looking uncomfortable. Everyone else was trying to act normal. We sat down for dinner. The tension was thick. Nobody mentioned the investigation. Nobody mentioned the money. We made small talk about weather and football. Then, right as we were serving dessert, my mother looked at me across the table and said, "Oh, by the way, Your sister got the insurance payout from your accident. You don't need it anyway since you're doing fine. The table went silent. Every single person stopped moving. I felt like I'd been slapped. She'd just admitted it. Casually. In front of everyone. Like it was no big deal. I put down my fork carefully. What insurance payout? My mother blinked. She looked confused, like she hadn't meant to say it out loud. The money from your accident. I gave it to Michelle because she needed it more. I looked around the table. Everyone was staring at my mother in shock. My Aunt Carol's mouth was open. My Uncle James looked horrified. I kept my voice steady. You mean the $50,000 you stole from me? The check you forged my signature on? That money? My mother's face went red. I didn't steal it. I'm your mother. I was managing it for you. I pulled out my phone. I opened my email. I found the image of the cashed check with my mother's forged signature. I held it up so others could see. This is the back of the check. That's your signature, not mine. You forged my name. You cashed my money. And you gave it to Michelle. I looked at my sister. Did you know this money was stolen from me? Michelle looked down at her plate. She wouldn't meet my eyes. That was answer enough. You knew, I said. You knew Mom stole from me and you took the money anyway. Michelle's voice was barely a whisper. I needed it. I felt something break inside me. I needed it too. It was compensation for my injuries. From an accident that almost killed me. But you needed a nicer apartment, so I guess that's more important. My mother stood up. This is not appropriate dinner conversation. I stood up too. You made it dinner conversation when you admitted to theft in front of the entire family. You want to know why I filed a police report? This is why. You don't think you did anything wrong. My Uncle James spoke up. Margaret, please tell me you didn't actually steal Amanda's insurance money. My mother's voice got high and defensive. I didn't steal it. I'm her mother. I have a right to make financial decisions for her. I shook my head. No, you don't. I'm 31 years old. You forged my signature. You committed fraud. And you also opened credit cards in my name and maxed them out. Did you mention that part to everyone? The room erupted. Multiple family members started talking at once. My Aunt Carol looked at my mother with betrayal. Margaret, what have you done? My mother started crying. You don't understand. Michelle was in trouble. She needed help. Amanda has always been fine on her own. She doesn't need the money like Michelle does. I grabbed my purse. I'm leaving. I only came today because Aunt Carol asked me to. But I'm done pretending this is a normal family. My Aunt Carol stood up. Amanda, wait. She turned to my mother. Margaret, you committed a crime. Multiple crimes. Against your own daughter. My mother was sobbing now. She's going to send me to prison. Her own mother. I turned back. You sent yourself to prison when you decided to steal from me. I just reported it. Michelle finally spoke up, louder this time. It's not like you needed the money, Amanda. You make good money. Mom said you were doing fine. I stared at my sister. I had $50,000 in medical debt from that accident. I had to take 3 months off work with no pay. I depleted my entire savings. But sure, I was doing fine. Unlike you, who just needed a nicer apartment. Michelle's face went red. You've always been Mom's favorite. You've always been the responsible one. For once, she helped me instead of you. Get over it. I laughed without humor. I was the responsible one because I had to be. Because Mom never helped me. She helped you constantly. And now she's stolen from me to give you even more. My Uncle James stood up. I think we should all calm down. I shook my head. I'm calm. I'm also done. Mom, Michelle, I'm done with both of you. The investigation is moving forward. The prosecutor is filing charges. You're both going to face consequences. My mother lunged toward me. You can't do this. I'm your mother. You owe me. My Aunt Carol stepped between us. Margaret, stop. You need to get a lawyer. I walked toward the door. Several family members followed me out. My Aunt Carol, my Uncle James, my cousin Sarah. They stood with me in the driveway. We had no idea, Aunt Carol said. If we'd known, we would have stopped her. I nodded. I know. Thank you for believing me. She hugged me. Of course we believe you. What your mother did is unforgivable. Over the next few weeks, everything fell apart. The prosecutor filed charges against my mother for fraud, forgery, and identity theft. The investigation revealed that Michelle had known the money was stolen but took it anyway. The prosecutor added charges of receiving stolen property against Michelle. My mother hired a lawyer. She tried to claim she had my permission to handle the money. But the forged signature on the check proved otherwise. The credit card fraud was even more damning. She'd used my social security number and personal information to open cards in my name. That was clear identity theft. Her lawyer eventually advised her to take a plea deal. She pleaded guilty to reduced charges. She got 2 years in prison and 5 years probation. She was ordered to pay full restitution, $80,000 plus interest. Michelle also took a plea deal. She got probation and was ordered to pay back her portion of the stolen money. Neither of them had the money to pay me back immediately. The court set up a payment plan. I'll be getting small monthly payments for years. My credit is destroyed. It'll take years to recover. I had to file bankruptcy because of the fraudulent credit cards. My mother is in prison. My sister and I don't speak. Half my extended family sided with them, saying I was cruel to prosecute my own mother. The other half sided with me, saying she deserved consequences for her crimes. If there's anything I want you to take from my story, it's this: protect your personal information, even from family. Don't assume that family members won't steal from you. Check your credit report regularly. If someone has access to your mail or your documents, even temporarily, be careful. And if family does betray you financially, don't feel guilty about reporting it. Theft is theft, even when it's committed by your own mother. That Thanksgiving dinner was the day everything came out into the open. My mother's casual admission of theft in front of the whole family was the final piece of evidence that showed she truly didn't think she'd done anything wrong. She believed she had the right to take my money and give it to my sister. She believed I didn't deserve it as much as Michelle did. And that attitude is exactly why I couldn't drop the charges. Some people have asked if I regret turning in my mother. The answer is no. She didn't just steal money. She stole my security. She stole my trust. She destroyed my credit. She forged legal documents in my name. Those aren't minor mistakes. Those are serious crimes. And when she got caught, she didn't apologize. She didn't offer to make it right. She just expected me to accept it because she's my mother. But being a parent doesn't give you the right to commit crimes against your children. It's been 18 months since that Thanksgiving. My mother is in prison. Michelle is working and making her court-ordered payments. I'm rebuilding my credit slowly. I've moved past the anger. What I feel now is mostly sadness. Sadness that my mother valued money more than our relationship. Sadness that my sister was willing to benefit from theft. Sadness that my family fell apart over greed and entitlement. But I don't regret standing up for myself. I don't regret demanding justice. And I don't regret refusing to be a victim just because the criminal was my mother. Thank you for listening to my story.